Hi folks, this is Apple Geek, and welcome back for another reaction. Just before we get to that, I do just want to say once again, thank you very much to all my subscribers who helped me hit my 250 subscriber milestone. And I had a blast recording that special video for that, the Remembrance video, in which I actually got to interview Argo Damon himself. If you have not watched that, please go do so. It was a blast doing it. And actually, on that note, the video Remembrance I just saw made third place on the top 25 pony videos of 2015. In fact, Argo Damon has 3 of his videos on that top 25 list, with Remembrance being number 3. So, great job by Argo Damon on those, and yeah, definitely go check out those videos of his, give those a like and everything. And then yeah, if you want to know more about Remembrance, please check out the interview that I did with him. So yeah, thanks again. And now back to your regularly scheduled programming, so to speak. I am now at the point I am back doing the Rainbow Dash Presents series because it's at that point in Mentally Advanced when they were actually released. So going back and going to catch up on those. It's been a little bit since I've seen any of the RDP episodes, but just as thinking back and reviewing them a little bit here, from what I'm seeing, it's kind of a different take on Mentally Advanced from the standpoint of Mentally Advanced seems to purposefully try to completely change the story from the original episodes and just use the animation to tell a completely different story, whereas the RDP series seems to a lot more closely stick to the original stories of the fanfics that these videos are based off. So it's a little different twist, but it's adapting the characters from the MAS world to those stories. And I'm sure I'm telling you things you already know, but I'm just working through this in my head, so I'm trying to get myself prepped to get back into these here. So yeah, I'm at episode number 4, Spiders'. And yes, just a little earlier, I did read the fanfic, or at least skimmed through the fanfic that this was based on. If you can even call it a fanfic. You should, if you haven't seen it, definitely go give it a read, or at least skim it over quick. It is. I don't even know how to describe it. It's, of course, some call it the greatest piece of literature ever in the history of mankind, or something like that. Personally, I feel like it's the level of writing where every time somebody reads it, about 100 English professors feel a disturbance in the force. I myself am definitely a bit of a grammar Nazi, so I was fighting off seizures trying to read it. Again, if you haven't read it, you'll understand what I mean. Anyway, so yeah, it's an interesting story. There's a whole lot of ways that you could go with this. I'll be curious to see how they adapt it with the characters of the MAS world and such. So anyway, without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and give this a watch here and see how they end up portraying this one. And oh yeah, actually, just thinking about the voices again. There's going to be a character voice we haven't heard yet in any of the Mentally Advanced stuff, Big Mac. So yeah, curious. Well, assuming they don't end up writing him out of the story, I don't see how they could. But yeah, anyway, I'll just watch. Starting now.
No, this story is totally awesome, you guys, and I just got the Shogoth out of my fireplace. Last time me and Pinky did something like this, we had so much fun. You're just gonna...
Okay.
Good morning.
Oh, it's the middle of the afternoon.
It's always morning
Celestia?
somewhere.
What are you doing here?
I am going to read today. You are dismissed, Rainbow Dash.
Okay,
What?
see you guys later.
What?
I was bored.
Oh, this is gonna be good. What? What just happened? They got sucked into into the book?
Twilight awakens in her bedroom. She's
Wow.
depressed, as per
Okay.
usual. Each day fails to present reason to draw further breath. Her servant Spike does not respect her,
Depressing.
and when he grows to suitable age, he will devour Twilight with impunity. It is not but fear of death which impels the young man to study. Time is non-refundable. The Reaper sharpens his tool
You can
for
read
the
what some of his
harvest,
books are.
indifferent as the sun, which rises and sets each day.
Interpretation of dreams,
below were but meaningless
orthopedic
tribute to
trauma
its
surgery?
majestic arc. The tool, which Twilight foolishly calls friend, belches forth a scroll. The parchment falls to the floor, waiting
I
to be
love
retrieved.
Celestia's voice.
Go on, my faithful student.
I go pick up the scroll.
A wise choice. Because as you discover, the scroll was sent by none other than your beloved benevolent teacher. She requests, with much honey and adoration, that you find a particular book and you cast a particular spell. That
Okay, I'm
is
going
your
off the
lesson
story.
for
The
today.
fanfic.
She asks of you very little. Twilight
What?
thinks,
Why is it
I wonder
binary?
what my parents are doing.
Probably nothing as interesting as being Celestia, student. I get straight to work. I crack open the book and look at how to cast that spell.
It looks simple. Too simple.
Uh-oh.
Perhaps Celestia is growing feeble in her old age. Perhaps she became unhinged years ago. Perhaps it's about time someone overthrew Celestia and took her place.
No, it's a
before
trap!
Frothing madness swallows up the entirety of Equestria.
No, Twilight, it's a trap!
Do you disagree?
I think that this spell is going to teach me a valuable life lesson. Whatever it is, I get to casting it right away.
Oh, Twilight. If I were a lesser pony, I'd be furious with you.
That's
How lucky for us
Celestia's
both that I
shooting
am
mark on the
God.
ceiling?
The world grows at alarming
Okay.
speed. Or rather, you appear to be shrinking. Further and further the walls and furniture tower
Here's
above
the
you.
transformation.
Your body is racked with extreme pain as it undergoes morphological changes that were never meant to be.
So how's this gonna
You
look?
feel organs shift and buckle. Your liver slips, causing you a thick, cutting agony.
Ow.
When at last the horror reaches its inevitable conclusion,
Okay.
you remain an insect. But at this time in a form more fitting your demeanor. Dear student, you are a
Burn!
8 hairy legs, venomous pincers, and no horn to speak of.
Oops.
If no stallion would love you before, your odds now seem severely diminished.
But I don't want to be a spider.
Someone is sympathetic, I'm sure.
I uncast the spell.
And how do you intend to do that? As I
Exactly.
recall, you ignorantly performed the rites without reading the fine details.
Oops.
Mainly, you did not prepare a means to reverse it, and now you are trapped. Just as you are trapped in this story until you find a way to return to your plain pony shape.
Then I go to get
Okay,
Spike.
so
I
it's
don't
one
know
of
how
those
yet,
deals,
but
gotta-
this is his fault, and he's gonna do all the hard
Gotta
work.
find
to
your way
fix
to the
it,
end of
or
the
I'll
story to
bite
escape
him
the book.
in his
Alright.
sleep.
You cry out to Spike, but it is of no use.
You ain't gonna...
By what means did you intend to speak to him? At what
he playing
point have you
Xbox?
ever spoken to a spider?
Twilight! It's got a
Besides-
Twilight book!
I'd best beware, student.
Wait. What?
Pray, what does Spike do when he catches spiders around your domicile?
He eats them with extreme prejudice. They're one of the few things he feels he has any power over.
Well then,
So what? I'm trapped as a spider in a
Is that
story all by myself for the
Fluttershy
rest of
spider?
eternity?
that will be the case.
Oh my
But
word,
Providence
she's
saw
such a
fit to
punching
smile
bag in
upon
this
you.
in this stuff.
Another spider crawls from
It's
between
big
the
back.
cracks in the walls. A bright red creature, unlike any species you've seen in the area before.
Twilight, is that you? I recognize your hairy purple butt.
Applejack's brother?
Yup. Twilight,
Okay.
why am I a spider and how did I get here?
We're
Fairly
trapped in a
ordinary
story
voice.
being read by Celestia. We have to find a way out.
When did that happen? I was just walking up to town from the farm a few minutes ago.
Seriously?
Oh, I suppose I should mention that this is a lesson for you, and I could care less what memories the red one retains. You may want to redirect your line of conversation,
Okay.
lest you look like an insane, modestly unappealing arachnid.
Applejack's brother, we need to find a way to turn back into ponies. Can you help me?
Well, I'll be honest. I'm only good at two things. One is heavy lifting, and the other, well, Anyone will tell you they don't call me Big Mac for nothing.
Okay, great. Well, we can rule out one of your skill sets because as a female spider,
Okay.
I'm actually bigger than you, so I can lift more than you can, and the other is not useful at all. So, in general, we can conclude that you are not useful. And you have a girl's voice.
Well, hey now, let's not rule anything out. We still
Oh,
haven't proven that my other skill set won't turn us back into ponies.
Okay.
It's done some
I get it.
amazing things before.
He has a point. Thanks to your idiocy, your only option now is to learn from scratch whatever will undo this spell you've cast. Since you have no reasonable way of forming a good hypothesis, you might as well try anything. Several times, of course, to eliminate confounding outliers.
Fine.
Really?
We'll give it a shot, but
Alright.
you better do it right.
Not that I'm picky or anything, but I was just wondering if we could find another spider. Maybe another male spider.
Twilight put on a tough exterior, but deep down her heart was wounded. Could her sniggering classmates have been correct?
Why do we need another spider? What's wrong with me, huh? Am I too fat?
I just think it would help things.
Well, forget it. You'll take what you get and you'll like it.
Okay, let's get started then.
Hang on, you're not doing it right.
I think I'd know if I was doing it wrong.
But spiders have very complex mating rituals. You have to do the mating ritual.
Yep, that's what I'm doing.
But you have to do it right or I'll eat you.
I'm telling you, I know what I'm doing.
The red male
Okay.
begins dancing. His movements are hypnotic, and Twilight finds herself sedated, as if by a unique magic she will never experience again. The rest is biology. Several days later, Twilight
whatever.
finds herself laying a clutch of eggs. The act is as painful as giving birth 1,000 times over.
Ah! Why?
Ah.
This is the worst day.
2 weeks pass, and no progress has been made in finding a solution to
Eviction
Twilight's
notice.
conundrum. Meanwhile, Macintosh and Twilight have entered the misery stage of their relationship, wherein Twilight relentlessly henpecks her male companion into a state of alcoholism. He is miserable because everything he does is wrong, and
Oh,
she is
man.
miserable because everything he does is wrong.
So Applejack's brother, we've ruled out courtship, the miracle of childbirth,
Another name she refuses
and
to
hating
use.
each other as a means to change back into ponies.
So, what do you want me to do about it?
I want you to clean up the web is what I want you to do. This thing was totally spotless before you moved in.
Y'all were living alone for 5 minutes, and y'all never clean anything.
Oh,
I
boy.
bet that without Spock around, y'all probably would have stewed in your own filth as a pony. I clean everything I use, so it lends itself to reason that everything should be clean if you aren't making messes.
Well, obviously you're not cleaning everything you use because the place is still a mess.
I want to go back to being a bachelor stallion. I'm Miss Caramel.
That's it. I'm going to my side of the web and I'm gonna cry until you apologize to me.
Twilight.
And I was gonna apologize for
I'm
everything.
sorry. I'm an idiot. It's my fault. You're right. I'll try to clean up around here more often.
Good, because I still have a bunch of other emotional problems that are your fault.
Well, seems I have things
Naturally.
to do. Let's wrap this up, shall we? Twilight's disgusting arachnid children burst from their
Oh,
egg
here we
sacs in
go.
an unholy wave of chitinous newborn lust for sustenance. They cover the floor like a carpet of living death.
What is this crap? Alright, look. Applejack's brother, I have a plan. I want you to kill me. Throw me into the sea of spider babies.
Are y'all sure? It seems unlikely that we'll be blamed for this on account of the fact that no one knows we're spiders, and how would they find us anyway?
Just do it.
Macintosh throws Twilight into the millions of skittering mouths below, but Death's sweet embrace eludes the girl. As with all things in her life, she is merely swept away against her will. Her children lead her down the stairs, stopping briefly over Spike to drain the vital fluids from his body.
Oh,
Perhaps a poetic justice for the spiders that they would appreciate if they were not the ilk of their parents' pairing. Out they go, pouring out of the windows and sweeping down the streets of Ponyville, picking the place clean of life. At last they reach the edge of
it's a
town,
lot of spiders.
and there,
What?
riding atop a hitherto unknown alicorn, who introduces himself as Argenbarger, is
Oh,
another spider.
of course, the
The
author.
spider announces itself to be none other than the famed
That's
Merriam-Webster.
Merriam-Webster.
The
Okay.
alicorn uses his fantastic
I'd like that troll
power
face for a
to
trademark.
annihilate the swarm of disobedient children, absorbing their essence in the wake of their deaths.
Okay, that's a twist
He
from the original
escorts
story.
Twilight back to her home and returns her to her natural form as a pony. There, he explains that Miriam has been his companion for the past 1,000 years. The Alicorn had always adored Twilight from afar, but with the recent turn of events, both Argenbarger and Miriam have fallen hopelessly in love with Twilight.
Get a newspaper, roll it up, squash Miriam. You're next if you don't get out of here, buddy.
He obliges out of blind, stupid, romantic inclinations. Now I suppose that concludes our little tale.
Okay.
I hope you have learned something valuable, my faithful students.
Wait.
Because I'll be expecting
Big
a
Mac?
full report on what you learned by tomorrow.
I'll get right on it.
Well, this was such a valuable
would that be
learning
a
tool.
book report?
I think that from now on, all residents of Ponyville should be required to sit in for your friend's little readings whenever she requests it. You could always use more Aesops. Twilight. Hello, beer.
Don't turn the coin now.
What a shot can I be in an episode?
Hello, beer. The spider announces itself to be none other than the famed Merriam-Webster. I will you in the street.
It's rather cold out.
That'll happen.
I think I did see that Obey poster.
Well then.
I'm probably gonna stink at that scavenger hunt though. Yeah.
I just spit all over your monitor, and I am sorry.
I'm just gonna sit over here and judge you.
Okay, good.
Okay. Well. Yeah, that was a different kind of a story. Well, they really skipped a lot of parts of it there at the end to move things along when Celestia got bored or had other things she needed to get to, and just like, let's finish this up. Okay. What happened to Big Mac? Like, after Twilight got carried off by the spiders, Big Mac is just gone. Like, did he not get turned back? Or what? Nice little dangling story thread there. And yeah, I saw in the original story, Spike got brought back to life by the spiders, at least if I read that correctly. And here we just saw Spike's skeleton picked clean sitting on the staircase. Okay, Spike's dead. Which is probably good if he was gonna grow up and eat Twilight someday. Wow. Okay. Yeah, this was a definite twist. This is supposed to be Rainbow Dash Presents, not Celestia Presents. That came out of left field. And wow. There's only been one brief scene in Mentally Advanced series with Celestia, and it didn't really give us a whole lot to go on, but this. Whoo! Celestia is messed up. Oh, she is one twisted character. Wow. You could just see Twilight like cowering in fear and just like walking on eggshells with her responses. Yeah, this is definitely explaining some things for the Mentally Advanced series as a whole. In terms of why Twilight does what she does. Woo! Okay. And the voice, Celestia's voice just never gets old. I mentioned this in a comment in that one Mentally Advanced video, but I think it was Vinnie Jones. I think was the name of the actor. Let me see if I can, because I remember him from a movie. That's it. Yeah, Vinnie Jones. I remember him from. I know he's been in a lot of movies and stuff. The one I remembered right offhand was Gone in 60 Seconds, the modern one with Nicolas Cage. Anyway, yeah, the Celestia's voice reminds me of that guy's voice for some reason. So, it's awesome. Uh, but yeah, I'm just wondering, trying to pick apart like what lines in this are part of Mentally Advanced and what are based off the fanfic. But the whole thing at the beginning about uh, Twilight, like going through her days, every day having less will to continue living or something. That was. Yeah, what is Celestia trying to do to Twilight? Seriously, like, is she actually trying to build up Twilight to, you know, make her nuts in order to replace herself? Or I don't know what she's trying to do, really. It'll be interesting to see how that develops. Yeah, anyway. Uh, the Fluttershy thing, like, what was with the Fluttershy spider? And having Spike eat her? Like, the guy that does these FiMFlamFilosophy, what is his issue with Fluttershy? Seriously, I want to know what's going on with that soon, because she just takes all the beating in this series. Like that's Spike's job. Spike is the one that normally takes all the beating in terms of the canon series. This is yeah. I just caught that brief at the end too with the Fluttershy holding up the sign. Can I be in an episode? Oh man. And well, and as far as that goes, Twilight refuses to remember and use Fluttershy's real name, and apparently it does the same thing with Big Mac, and probably will do the same thing with other characters too. It was just Applejack's brother. She would even dignify him with Big Mac. Oy. Uh, well, so I said there's definitely some stuff skipped at the end there. Um, yeah, the alicorn thing that was cool. They actually put the alicorn in the story. Guess I hadn't thought far enough ahead to wonder if they would do that or not, but it's cool they did. But yeah, the troll faces, the cutie mark is awesome. I said this was a troll fic. I mean, it was meant to be a completely ridiculous story, so that fit well. But the spider. Nope, just gonna kill the spider. Merriam-Webster gone. All right. That was not the original story. It's like you're in, yeah. Uh, what was the Alicorn's name again? Still got the story up here. Argumbarger. Yeah, that like he had a love thing with Twilight. Like what? Whatever. I said so much of this speaks for itself. I'm not offering any cohesive commentary here. It just certain things that stuck out to me. Oh yeah, well, yeah, it's a current. Oh wait. I just remembered the thing back to Rainbow Dash. Not having her doing the commentary this time or the narration. Um, but the part right at the beginning where they're going down the hall to the studio where they are sit by the fireplace. Um, what was the name of that creature? I have to go back and listen to it now. But there something about the creature Sugroth or something like that. That sorry that it finally got that out of the fireplace. That was That's a nice callback to some of the previous episodes where they had that blob thing in the fireplace. So, and then the reference about when Peking did it was a lot of fun or whatever. Yeah, callbacks to earlier RDP episodes. I didn't really catch other than the whole Celestia versus Twilight thing going on there. There really wasn't anything that I noticed as a callback to any specific things in the mentally advanced episodes. Oh, and then I already touched on the Fluttershy taking a beating. So just some elements from that transferred over, but yeah, I'm sure I've still missed stuff though. So feel free to drop me comments and let me know all the little hidden things that I've missed, the subtle things that I've missed. Well, I didn't really understand what Celestia was talking about at the end there about letting all citizens of Ponyville need to be allowed to sit in or forced to sit in or something while they're doing these stories. Need more Aesop's? Like what, Aesop's Fables or something? There's clearly some hidden meaning I'm missing there somewhere. So again, feel free to drop me a line on that. Just wondering what that means for future episodes and the character involvement. So we'll find out when I get to those. 5 more episodes of this, and probably back to Mentally Advanced from there. Finish getting caught up on this stuff. So. Anyway, yeah, wrapping this up for tonight. Oh wow, this got to be a really long video again. I'm sorry about that. It's probably a lot of... I'm going to go back to listen to this, and it's probably a lot of me just aimlessly rambling again. Sorry. Alright, thanks again for watching, everyone, and yeah, that's all I got for this one tonight, or tonight in general. We'll, again, keep trying to get to these in the evenings as I have time. And just, I'll be looking forward to more episodes in the near future. For tonight, we'll catch you next time. Hi, folks, this is Apple Geek, and welcome back for another reaction. Just before I get to that, I do just want to say once again, thank you very much to all my subscribers who helped me hit my 250 subscriber milestone. And I had a blast recording that special video for that, the Remembrance video, in which I actually got to interview Argo Daemon himself. If you have not watched that, please go do so. It was a blast doing it. And actually, on that note, the video Remembrance I just saw made 3rd place on the top 25 pony videos of 2015. In fact, Argo Daemon has 3 of his videos on that top 25 list, with Remembrance being number 3. So. Great job by Argo Daemon on those, and yeah, definitely go check out those videos of his, give those a like and everything. And then yeah, if you want to know more about Remembrance, please check out the interview that I did with him. So yeah, thanks again. And now back to your regularly scheduled programming, so to speak. I am now at the point I am back doing the Rainbow Dash Presents series because it's at that point in Mentally Advanced when they were actually released, so going back and going to catch up on those. It's been a little bit since I've seen any of the RDP episodes, but just as thinking back and reviewing them a little bit here, from what I'm seeing, it's kind of a different take on Mentally Advanced from the standpoint of Mentally Advanced seems to purposefully try to completely change the story from the original episodes and just use the animation to tell a completely different story. Whereas the RDP series seems to a lot more closely stick to the original stories of the fanfics that these videos are based off. So it's a little different twist, but it's adapting the characters from the MS world to those stories. And I'm sure I'm telling you things you already know, but I'm just working through this in my head, so I'm trying to get myself prepped to get back into these here. So yeah, I'm at episode number 4, Spiders'. And yes, just a little earlier, I did read the fanfic, or at least skimmed through the fanfic that this was based on. If you can even call it a fanfic. You should, if you haven't seen it, definitely go give it a read, or at least skim it over quick. It is. I don't even know how to describe it. It's, of course, some call it the greatest piece of literature ever in the history of mankind, or something like that. Personally, I feel like it's the level of writing where every time somebody reads it, about 100 English